ringing a bell from the First Baptist Church in Virginia, one of the oldest black churches in America, founded under a grove of trees in 1776.
It's a story 245 years in the making. The story of black Americans, free and slaves, gathering in secret to pray and worship together.
It was a time when they weren't supposed to be worshiping together. That was a big risk, and they took that risk to fulfill their faith.
Producers say the documentary, History Half Told is Untold, tells the amazing story of how white colonist Jesse Cole gave black enslaved preacher Moses a small 16 by 20-foot carriage house for worship.
Sit down, sit down and take your rest.
The story coming out of Bruton Parish is that Jesse Cole's wife loved the worship service that the blacks did so much that she would come home and open her window and enjoy the songs and the service. And the good thing about this is we found the descendants of that family, and the story is the same. So the parallel history integrates, and that's what we're trying to do with this film.
After a tornado destroyed it, a second church built on the site in 1856 stood for 100 years. The rich history of First Baptist, however, was literally covered up when the city put a parking lot over the land and paid for a new church building a few blocks away. Thanks to efforts by Colonial Williamsburg and the Let Freedom Ring Foundation, archaeologists began uncovering the history, and Harshaw says that is bringing healing.
You have some descendants right now that are still living that saw this process, this church at 1856 structure being knocked down and covered up with an asphalt parking lot. They're now getting to ride by and see it being uncovered.
And that's helping bring the community, black and white, together.
I want people to feel that healing can happen, that togetherness, it can happen. All of the things that we thought could not happen, all we have to do is come together and recognize each other's humanity and that we all serve the same God.
The goal is to reconstruct the 1818 church right here on the site of where archaeologists discovered the remnants of the original meeting house, which eventually became known as First Baptist Church.
It was probably a very lightly built structure, wooden siding that comes up from a brick foundation. We uncovered that several months ago, and it will not survive long being exposed to the elements like we're experiencing today. So we are backfilling it right now, and it will stay covered for the time being. And the hope and the expectation is that we will be able to rebuild that once the whole project is finished.
Important discoveries so far include a 1-cent coin dating back to 1817, copper pins common on women's clothing at the time, and about 30 grave sites. The dig is scheduled to continue through this year. Then work will begin on a reconstructed church. The goal, to open doors to the public by the fall of 2026, in time for the First Baptist 250th anniversary celebration. Wendy Griffith, CBN News, Williamsburg.
And you can see the documentary History Half Told is Untold, February 25th through the 27th at 8 p.m. on the CBN News.